Buongiorno a tutti e benvenuti. Welcome to another live workshop here from Coffee Break Italian. Io sono Mark. I am Mark from Coffee Break Italian, and today we're going to be joined by Francesca for a translation challenge. And over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to be talking a little about translation, about the skills that you need for translation, and of course about the Italian language, because what's going to happen is Francesca is going to give you some sentences in English to translate into Italian, and then she'll explain how these sentences work. Now, all of this is part of our Spring Forward promotion with your language learning. So basically, we're helping you spring forward with your Italian over the course of 4 days this week. This is day 3. This is live broadcast number 4 of 4 today, and it's live broadcast number 12 of 16 this week. It's been a great week so far. We've really enjoyed it, and it's been great fun helping you practice your language skills and reaching thousands of learners all across the world. We're broadcasting today on YouTube and on Facebook, on the Coffee Break Italian page. So wherever you're watching, you're very welcome. It's great to see that we have some viewers, and I ask you to let us know where you're watching from. So we have Jeff in Gainesville. You're very welcome. Anne is joining us from Cambridge. Marianne in Kennewick. We have got Black Cat Play Pompeii joining us from NYC, from New York. We've got Ian Jennings in Haute-Savoie. We've got Maria in Linlithgow. We've got Annika in Munich. Fantastic to see you all. Alexandros, eccomi ancora una volta. Stiamo tutto bene. Sì, grazie. Claire is joining us from the Isle of Wight. Monica is in a quiet carriage, so we'll be quiet, Monica, don't worry. Who else do we have? Christine's joining us in Somerset. Monique in Quebec. Marguerite in New Jersey. Oh, lots of you today. Yulid Sari in Puerto Rico. Lucy's in Dublin. Huberg Fida is from Stockholm. We've got Debbie joining us in Filignano. We've got Steve in Sacramento, Marianne in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, wow, there's so many of you. I don't think I'm going to be able to read everyone out, but it's great to have you all here. We're delighted to have you here today to do some practice with our Italian learning. Now, as I said, this is all about giving you a sample of what it's like to have content every single day to work on, and that's exactly what our club is all about. Yesterday, we were discovering the world with Lo Spazio per I Cittadini. Now, that was quite a tricky text that we worked on yesterday. The day before, it was a little easier in our Dove mi trovo oggi, where do I find myself today, when we were identifying a mystery location. And today is all about translation skills. So, as I said, we're back with Francesca today to do some translation from English into Italian. And all of this is part of our Coffee Break Club. Now, the Coffee Break Club came from a place where we were trying to come up with a way in which we could help you manage your learning and use the time that you have in a useful, constructive way. And we basically were thinking about, we put content on YouTube, for example. You might be watching this on YouTube or Facebook. And we send lots of content on these channels and help you work your way through different lessons. But let's say if you were looking to find out how you would use, I don't know, the passato remoto or the passato prossimo. Let's do something a little more simple. The passato prossimo in Italian. Then you could search for a video on YouTube and find that video. But you don't necessarily know if there's a video to follow up from that, from the same teacher or from the same source. Indeed, on YouTube, you don't necessarily even know that the source is a correct source. There might be someone who's made a video, but it's not actually accurate. With YouTube also, there's that whole right-hand panel that is full of distraction, and that's where you can basically get a little bit distracted and you end up watching videos about things that you hadn't expected to be watching videos about, whether they be new cameras or kittens or whatever it is that you enjoy watching videos on. So, excuse me 1 second. I'm not sure if I successfully muted my mic there. I apologise if I didn't. But we wanted then to think about how can we kind of model things on the video libraries, things like Netflix and Hulu and Prime Video, where there's lots and lots of interesting and enjoyable shows, and you can search for them, and you can even download them to your device and watch them when you're flying or when you're in a place where you've not got an internet connection or in a quiet train compartment, Monica. Anyway, all of these ideas are ways in which we can use learning content. We wanted to create this learning content that would be based around this idea of having access to expert material, correct material, progressive material, but organised in such a way like Netflix or Hulu or Prime Video. We then looked at the fitness apps, so things like Apple Fitness Plus or Peloton, where there are lessons where you can do a boxing lesson for 20 minutes or a cycling workout for half an hour or, I don't know, a 10-minute meditation or something like that. And these apps are actually very similar to what we're trying to achieve with language learning, because let's face it, getting fit and learning a language are very similar. You have to do something every day. You very often you need the support of a coach to help you. And if you keep at it, doing a little every day, then you do get fitter. Likewise with language learning, if you do a little bit every day, then you will end up making really good progress. And that is where we came up with the Coffee Break Club. It's an on-demand library of video lessons with hundreds of video lessons with expert teachers and a variety of videos available on our web platform, coffeebreaktv.com, and our Coffee Break TV app. I'll be telling you a little more about that later, but I think now we should get into our language lesson for today, because that is, after all, what we are here for. So, while we're watching this translation video, you're going to have 10 seconds to translate each of the sentences from English into Italian. Now, that's quite short, I realise that. And depending on the difficulty level of some of the sentences, don't worry if they're perhaps a little too difficult for you. It depends, obviously, on your level. But the crucial thing is, in the club, you would obviously be able to pause the video and work it out and even look up words if you wanted. Today, we're just going to let the video run, so you're going to get 10 seconds, but afterwards, Francesca will go through everything and we'll talk about everything afterwards. If you have any questions about any of the aspects of the language that you're watching, then please post them in the comments and I'll deal with them after we watch Francesca here. Allora, siamo pronti? Cominciamo!
Welcome to the club. Yo soy Marina. In today's video, I have a translation.
No, that's the wrong video, wrong language. As I say, we've got French, Spanish, German, and Italian, and I just pressed the wrong button. So I think this time, hopefully, we will go to Francesca. Ciao, Francesca.
Ciao! Welcome to the Coffee Break Italian Club. Io sono Francesca, and in this video we are going to do a few translation challenges together. We will translate sentences from English into Italian, and we will focus in particular on the theme verb stare followed by the gerund. For each sentence, you will have 10 seconds, but you can also pause the video if you think you need a little bit more time. Allora, grab a pen and paper because cominciamo! Ecco la prima traduzione. My friends are not doing anything to help me with this problem. Okay? 10 seconds. Benissimo. So our suggestion is I miei amici, or indeed le mie amiche, non stanno facendo niente per aiutarmi con questo problema. Let's have a look at some of the components of this sentence. So my friends could be masculine or a mixed group, I miei amici, or feminine, le mie amiche. They are not doing anything. So to convey the English are not doing, in Italian, first of all, we always need the verb stare. In this case, stanno, because it's conjugated in the present tense of the indicative in the third person plural. The gerund of fare is a little bit irregular and it is facendo. So stanno facendo, they are doing. Negative, non stanno facendo. What? Niente, nothing or anything. Remember, in Italian, you always need a double negative. So non plus a negative expression, niente in this case. Per aiutarmi, in order to help me. So aiutarmi is one word. Con questo problema. Problema is a masculine word, even if it ends in a. That's why you need questo, not questa. But let's see some options. So we could also say, non stanno facendo nulla per aiutarmi con questo problema. Nulla and niente are really synonyms. Ok, molto bene. Let's see the second sentence. When Giulia arrived, Marco was already cooking something for dinner. Lucky Giulia. Ok, 10 secondi. Perfetto, ecco la traduzione. Quando Giulia è arrivata, Marco stava già cucinando qualcosa per cena. Analizziamo la frase. When Julia arrived. Quando Giulia arrived, this is an action that happened in the past and it's finished. So we need the passato prossimo. Arrivare requires essere. È arrivata, agreeing with Giulia. What was Marco doing? Marco stava cucinando. This is the imperfect of stare, stava. It's an action in process in the past. And we have the gerund of the verb cucinare, cucinando. Usually già, already, goes in between. Stava già cucinando. What? Qualcosa, something, for dinner, per cena. Facile, no? Okay, let's see another sentence. What Mr. Rossi is saying doesn't make any sense. Ok, perfetto. 10 seconds. Tempo scaduto. Ecco la traduzione. Quello che il signor Rossi sta dicendo non ha alcun, or as an alternative, nessun senso. Vediamo questa frase. So a little bit different as compared to the English. In English you would say what. In Italian quello che. So that which, in a way, very literally. The thing that, quello che. Mr. Rossi, il signor Rossi, don't forget the article, is saying, sta dicendo, a nice gerund, non ha alcun or nessun, we can use either, senso. So in English you would say it doesn't make sense. In Italian it doesn't have sense. We can also see a different alternative and we can change the word order slightly. We can also say quello che sta dicendo il signor Rossi, so moving signor Rossi towards the end, non ha alcun or nessun senso. Ok, perfetto, molto bene. I hope you have enjoyed this translation challenge and grazie mille for taking these 5 minutes to practice your Italian today. I really hope you have found this useful practice of the construction with the verb stare plus the gerund. I'm Francesca, sono Francesca, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon for another video from the Coffee Break Italian Club. Per il momento, grazie mille e happy coffee breaking!
Grazie Francesca, and thank you to all of you. I hope that you enjoyed that and that you picked up something there that was useful. I think this is the key thing about these kind of videos, that literally, you saw the clock going around, that was 5 minutes. And what have we done in those 5 minutes? We've learned lots, we've practiced lots, we've been reminded about words and phrases and expressions. We've perhaps been consolidating language that we already know, or learning completely new words. But what do we normally do in 5 minutes? Isn't it really easy to waste 5 minutes? How many times have you been browsing on your phone or doing something that you can easily spend 5 minutes without even realising it? So putting 5 minutes into really good practice and using a video like this is a perfect way to take a little step each day with your Italian. Some comments. Yeah, I was being a little cheeky there when someone was Marco stava già cucinando qualcosa per cena. I wondered if it was la pizza al pollo. As many of you know, there's an ongoing thing about pizza al pollo in Coffee Break Italian, and we loved Francesca's translation challenge for April Fool's Day last week, in which she was talking about how much she loved pizza al pollo. But Huberg is saying this pizza al pollo bickering always makes me laugh. So that was possibly quite a challenging video, depending on your level. And in the club, we have a whole range of different types of videos. What I'd like you to do is post in the comments about one thing perhaps that you've learned that was new to you, one word, one phrase, or if you prefer, tell us something that you already knew and that for you that was a little bit of consolidation today. Sally's saying these are challenging for my level of Italian. Perfectly okay. However, the format still makes them enjoyable. So hopefully, Sally, even if the phrases and the words that you're looking at here are maybe a little beyond you, getting the translation and getting the explanation from Francesca has helped. I was thinking about some of the words that I was listening to there. I was reminded about nulla. I think I always think of niente when we think about nothing, but nulla, it was a good reminder that nulla existed today. I think the combination of that perfect tense, which is the thing that happened, in this case, I think Giulia è arrivata, so Giulia arrived, and that interrupted the fact that Marco was already preparing dinner. Stava già cucinando per cena, qualcosa per cena. So the stava cucinando, he was cooking something. That's our imperfect tense of stare plus the gerund, and it's interrupted by the perfect tense of arrivare. So è arrivata, Giulia è arrivata e Marco stava già cucinando qualcosa per cena. I think another thing that is always tricky in English is, or in Italian coming from English, is the quello che, that which. But it's a way of translating what, and what sometimes is difficult to translate because it can be translated in different ways. And another thing that we picked up on there was alcun and nessun, so the fact that we can very often interchange these. And likewise with word order changes, when we had quello che sta dicendo il signor Rossi, or quello che il signor Rossi sta dicendo, that which signor Rossi is saying, what signor Rossi is saying. Daniel has a question. Per domanda dove posso usare cucinava invece di stava cucinando. Certo. I think Francesca at the beginning of this video said that she was focusing on stare plus the gerund. So that's why we went for stava cucinando. And stava cucinando does give more of a feeling of it was actually happening. She was actually in the process of cooking, or in this case, Marco. So he was in the process of cooking. Cucinava means was cooking. So it would be perfectly usable there, and it would be interrupted by è arrivata Giulia. But it's a good alternative. We have some questions about the club and so on. I'll definitely address those. Lucy saying, ho imparato qualcosa nuova. So she's learned something good. Well done, Lucy. You've learned something new. Chianti 95 or 95, doesn't present tense sometimes convey gerund? Yeah, you can use the gerund with the present tense. So, sto mangiando, I am eating. We just use the present tense of stare plus the gerund. Here, where we're using the imperfect tense of stare. So, stava cucinando, he was cooking. Likewise, we could use the future tense of stare. So staremo cucinando. We will be cooking. So it's a very, very useful expression. So Aggie's saying, I almost got them all correct. I forgot to put ja in between the verb. Steve learned about the option of changing word order in the last example. Is it also available in the penultimate example? Oh, I need to remember what the penultimate example was. I'm sorry, I don't have that on me on the screen at the moment. And saying, a great reminder of what I should know better, conjugating the gerund, so good practice. Jeff saying, I thought it was stava cucinando già. Stava cucinando già qualcosa. I think the già sounds better between the stava and cucinando. Mary's saying, I had completely forgotten quello che, and now I'm confusing Italian and Spanish. Is it a bad idea to work on both together? No, Mary, what I would suggest you do is try to separate them in your mind. So work on your Spanish in one room and your Italian in another room. Create a different experience and use a different notebook, and I don't know, even like light a candle when you're doing your Italian, and I don't know, have something else, some music playing when you're doing your Spanish, and that way you can try to distinguish them in your head. Just an idea. I hope that helps. Lots of questions. Ian's asking, sorry for the basic question. There are no basic questions. That's what we're here for. But why do we use stare plus the gerund rather than the straight imperfect tense? So hopefully I've kind of explained that already. And the fact that you can use the straight imperfect tense, cucinava, but stava cucinando gives that a little bit more idea of we're right in the process of doing something when you're using stare plus the gerund. Sto parlando adesso. I am speaking right now. Parlo adesso. Okay, I speak right now. Parlo italiano. I speak Italian is a statement, but sto parlando italiano adesso. I am speaking Italian right now. Hope that helps. Hope that explains things. So Lucille is asking, so when you use the passato prossimo as the interruption, you can use the imperfect instead of the gerund combination? Yes, you can. So you can be using a normal imperfect, and you can interrupt that with a gerund. Right, my goodness me. We have got some questions about the club, and I'm just scrolling back to make sure I'm going to get all of these. Monica saying the signal is rubbish on the train, so I'll leave you and go to the train's bistro in search of a pizza con pollo. I hope you find that. I'm just making sure I've got all these questions because I know that we've got some club questions here. Christine. So we're going to start with Christine's question. Christine is saying, I plan to upgrade to an annual subscription this week. Fantastic, from my quarterly subscription. I don't want this to renew automatically though, because the annual cost is more than 4 quarterly payments. How do I ensure I can go back to quarterly payments after the full year? So that's a good question. What I will say is that as we've introduced our annual subscription for $199.99, I've not actually put these on the screen yet. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring these onto the screen so that this makes more sense. So we have 3 subscriptions for the club. $19.99 a month, $44.99 a quarter, and $199.99 for the year. Now, each of these is cancelable at any time. So if you are signed up to the club, you can sign up to the club today for a month, cancel tomorrow, and you'll still have access to the club for that month. And at a later date, you can come back and sign up for it again. If you sign up today for a year, again, your membership will last for a year. It will renew in 1 year's time at the full price of $199.99. But today, this week, we're offering 30% off for your first payment, be that monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Now, those of you who are mathematically minded will look at this and say, hang on a minute, $44.99 times 4 is about $180. That's cheaper than $199. Well, when we were looking at the pricing for this, we introduced the annual pricing just yesterday. And as a result of that, we're going to be adjusting the quarterly subscription cost to $54.99. So next week, the quarterly cost will be $54.99. So basically, that would be the equivalent of $220 for the year with 4 quarterly payments of $54.99. So Anyone who's currently on the quarterly payment will stay at $44.99. That doesn't change. But if you were to subscribe to the quarterly payment next week, it will be $54.99. But we didn't want to change the pricing of the quarterly payment while we were in the middle of this promotion. That would be unfair to change the pricing, and we like to do things properly. So that's why the pricing at the moment is $19.99, $44.99 and $199.99. At the moment, the best value obviously is still going with the 30% off $199, giving you $140 payment today for your first year. As of next week, it will cost $200 more or less for the year. It will cost $220 if you pay quarterly, and $240 if you pay monthly. So that will be the balance, the pricing plans come next year. No, sorry, not come next week. It's been a long day. So, Christine, coming back to your question, you don't want the annual to renew because you would prefer to go back to quarterly payments if it's cheaper. It won't be cheaper, so it will be dearer to go for quarterly payments. So your best option would be going for the annual review, the annual payment, and then that means at the end of that year, you'll be able to either cancel or continue on with it for another year at that level. I hope that answers your question. A little bit tricky, I know. Mistress Uvi is asking the same question. So once the coupon code expires, the annual membership will cost $20 more every year than the quarterly membership, but it's labeled best value. So yeah, hopefully now this is more clear. We just didn't want to change. We felt it would be inappropriate to suddenly change the $44.99 per quarter to $54.99 during this promotion. And apologies for any confusion there, but it will be going up next week to $54.99. Aggie's asking, is the subscription for the club and the Coffee Break TV separate fees? So there's no subscription for Coffee Break TV. Coffee Break TV is the platform, and within the platform you have access to the club, and there's a subscription for the club within the platform of Coffee Break TV. It's also the possibility of accessing your Coffee Break Academy courses. But if you discovered Coffee Break Portuguese, let's say, and Coffee Break Portuguese is available within Coffee Break TV, and so you can buy it as a full course there, and as the lessons become available, then they would also be in Coffee Break TV. So Coffee Break TV is the platform. It doesn't have a cost, but for each of the elements of that, the club being one of them, and that's access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding content all the time to the library. That is one product, and the pricing is on the screen here for that product. So I hope that explains the difference between the club and the ongoing fees. Christine says, thank you. You did answer my question very thoroughly. So I hope that makes sense. Denise saying, it's great, but I don't like automatic renewal. Maybe it's obvious to others, but I don't see how to cancel automatic renewal. So when you are, if you've subscribed, Denise, I think you have, if you go to your profile, which is at the top right, and then click on your purchases, and then beside the purchase, it will say, I think cancel subscription is an option. Just click on cancel. You'll still have access to it for the rest of your subscription period. And if you choose at some point during that to renew your subscription, then that's entirely up to you. But it's perfectly easy to do that. So I hope that makes sense. So let me just double check. Lucy saying compartmentalize. I say, Mark, you must have many boxes. Yeah, I think I juggle them all the time. Yeah, hopefully it's not too visible. Right, how do you access all of this? I'm getting caught up in all of this. You need to go to coffeebreaktv.com. And you need to use the coupon code SPRING30 in order to get your 30% off your first payment, be that a monthly payment, be that a quarterly payment, or a yearly payment. So use SPRING30, and and that will be you. You should get in there. Denise is saying, I may well want to renew, I just don't like a computer telling me that I'm going to automatically renew. No problem at all. That's entirely, you're able to do that, no problem. So just go in there and cancel your membership, and we won't take it personally when we see Denise has cancelled her membership. Okay, back to these slides, because there are a couple of things I wanted to share. First of all, we've just done a survey with our existing club members, and here are some of the comments from them. So one person has said, the club makes learning fun. I feel like I'm learning with friends and I feel part of a community, and that's exactly what we're aiming for. And another comment here, the coffee break method of dedicating just a few minutes a day to language instead of big blocks of time has been life-changing and so accessible to me. The Coffee Break TV app helps me get in more learning than I otherwise would. My goal is to use it daily so I can get a good balance between grammar, vocabulary and other fun videos. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, provide this variety of content. The Coffee Break Club includes so much content, and indeed I should reinforce the fact that with the club membership, you're not just accessing Italian, you get access to all the French, Italian, Spanish and German videos for the one payment. So it's a fantastic offer for basically £112 for a year's access. So here are the Italian videos, and this is a library of content that we're adding to all of the time. And as you see, as we get to the bottom, just more videos pop in. And when we've watched a video, it is grayed out so you can see which ones you've watched easily. So I hope that you consider joining the Coffee Break Club. Those are the prices again, and indeed the best value one is definitely the yearly cost for $140. Tomorrow we're doing another live lesson, and that is at 11:30 UK time, 6:30 in the morning in the States, in East Coast USA, but hopefully at that time we'll be able to also welcome some viewers from Asia and from the Pacific regions and from Australia and New Zealand. So we're going to be looking at the adjective bello, and it's a tricky adjective because it has lots of different forms. Who knew it would be so difficult to say good looking in Italian? But that will be with Maurizio tomorrow at 11:30 UK time, so join us for that. If you do have any questions, please let us know. Just get in touch. You can contact the team at coffeebreaklanguages.com. That's probably the best way to get in touch. You've got until Sunday to take advantage of the coupon code SPRING30. Go to Coffee Break TV, have a look around. There is a collection of free videos there that you can have a look at, some samples, and you can see whether it is for you. I hope that today you've learned something, even though we were just focusing in 5 minutes. You've learned something in Italian, and it's given you the chance to just remind yourself of certain aspects of the language. Alexandros is saying grazie a voi per il vostro ottimo lavoro con CBI. Grazie mille, Efcharistopoli. And Lucy has just subscribed. Grazie mille, Lucy. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Candy is asking, are these live sessions available later? 6:30 a.m. is early. Yes, of course they are. If you just visit our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, you'll see all of the previous lives, so you can catch up on yesterday's and the days before. And also you'll be able to check in tomorrow after the event. I've been talking solidly for 2 hours, so I'm going to go now and have a glass of water. But for now, grazie mille. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you to Francesca. Grazie mille, Francesca, come sempre. E a domani. Ciao, ciao.